Hey, good morning. I'm Joey Hopkins, Secretary of North Carolina Department of Transportation. It's great to be out here today at Raleigh Executive Jetport celebrating this milestone for this electric charging station for both aircraft and motor vehicles. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the Raleigh Executive Jetport. My name is Lisa Mathis. I am the board member for the North Carolina Department of Transportation, representing Division 8. And we are out here today with Electrify Air Mobility, and we're very, very excited to have to show off the first electric plane to land in North Carolina. This is a plane called the Aaliyah, and it is by a company called Beta. We had a wonderful event today celebrating this wonderful bit of transportation history here in North Carolina, and also welcoming our partners. We found out that United Therapeutics will be using these vehicles to help deliver organs to people. So there's a lot of wonderful mission work here that's going on out at the Raleigh Executive Jetport today. So come out and see us if you're here for the next few days.
Good morning, I'm Mayor Rebecca Salmon, and I'm here celebrating the arrival of this new beautiful Beta aircraft and our first ever electric multimodal charging station here at the airport for the future of electric mobility. It's been a great day, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for electric aviation.
Hi, I'm Blaine Newton, Chief Operating Officer at Beta Technologies. We could not be more excited to be here today as we had the opportunity to fly down from Burlington, Vermont. This is our sixth state on the journey down the East Coast, going through New York City, and had the opportunity to land at Andrews Air Force Base. Now on our way down to deliver this aircraft to the U.S. Air Force at Duke Field at Eglin Air Force Base. So thanks for having us. Love being here at Raleigh Executive Jetport, TTA, and can't wait to fly more around North Carolina.
Hey, I'm just happy to be here this morning. This is an exciting time in Sanford and Lee County. Exciting time in North Carolina and the USA. This new charging station for aircraft is so wonderful to be seen here displayed for the first time to charge airplanes in the country. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be on the City Council. Thank you.
Morning. Good morning. I'm Karen Howard, Chair of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, and I'm so excited to be here at the Raleigh Executive Jetport with this incredible new opportunity and for us to get electric charging for air travel and the mission of addressing the climate change crisis that we are in, being taken on by the aviation industry, is truly amazing. It really is going to speak to the future that we can leave to our children and grandchildren. I'm so happy to be a part of this. Thank you.
Don't be shy. I'm not going to call on you. Come on. Come on. Good morning. Welcome to Sanford. My name is Lisa Mathis, and I am a board member for the North Carolina Department of Transportation, representing Division 8. I like to call it the Great Division 8. Right, Secretary? And I'm also the chairperson for the Multimodal Committee, and that includes all modes of transportation besides highways. So, of course, that includes aviation. As an Air Force brat, I enjoy all things plane related. So I am particularly excited and honored to be with you here today. This event is an important milestone as we look towards new horizons in both transportation and aviation. Our future will give the public more transportation options. Travel will be safer, more efficient, and more environmentally friendly as we convert from gas to electric-powered vehicles, both by ground and by air. Today marks a first for North Carolina, which has grown quite accustomed to being a leader when it comes to aviation and transportation. As a small business owner right here in Sanford, I couldn't be prouder that we are launching this initiative here in the place that I call home. Before we begin, I would like to ask those who are able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty with justice for all. Thank you so much. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Carter Keller. He's the chairman of the Sanford Lee Regional Airport Authority. In his spare time, he's a managing partner at Carolina Commercial Construction. Carter and his family, all aviation enthusiasts, have been instrumental in the growth and development of this very special airport.
Thank you, Lisa. Phew, a little breezy. Good morning. On behalf of the Sanford Lee County Regional Airport Authority, I would like to welcome you to the Raleigh Executive Jetport. We are extremely proud of this airport and its role in the community and the region. Back in the early 90s, when the idea of the new airport was conceived, local leaders worked closely with state and federal officials to make it become a reality. It was no easy task. We have always pushed for innovation and improvement here in Lee County. We officially opened on this new site in 2000 with 24 aircraft. With the help of our great partners at the City of Sanford, Lee County, the Division of Aviation, NCDOT, and the FAA, in just more than 20 years, we have become the state's largest general aviation airport. We currently have 210 based aircraft and contribute over $52 million annually to the local and state economy. Today we embark on another new beginning with a new partner, Beta Technologies. Beta is revolutionizing aviation with the development of aviation charging systems, creating a new classification of aircraft, and they are training people how to make use of these new systems. Beta brings with them a host of new partners, all of whom we look forward to getting to know as these technologies are further developed. We welcome you, Beta, and your partners. We will work with you to make your experience here at TTA a great one. I am fortunate to work with a smart and creative team here at Raleigh Exec, one that always looking forward and planning ahead. We look forward to a long and fruitful relationship as we begin this new and exciting journey at Raleigh Exec Jetport here in Sanford, North Carolina. Thank you for allowing us to host the future of flight.
Thank you, Mr. Keller. Our next speaker today is Joey Hopkins. He is the Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Transportation. As Transportation Secretary, he manages one of the largest state-maintained highway systems in the nation and all modes of transportation, including aviation. During his tenure at NCDOT, Secretary Hopkins has strongly supported the launch of the Advanced Mobility NC initiative. Will you please welcome Mr. Hopkins?
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to be with you here today for the groundbreaking of North Carolina's first ever multimodal charging station. This landmark initiative signifies a pivotal step towards a cleaner transportation future for aviation and all of transportation in North Carolina. It also advances one of our signature initiatives. The Advanced Mobility NC initiative is our commitment to preparing for the future through innovative industry partnerships and deployments of new technologies. These improve transportation options for people and businesses here in North Carolina. First and foremost, I'd like to express my gratitude to all the strategic partners who played a vital role in making this event happen. The Raleigh Executive Jetport, Beta Technologies, and AFWorks have been key partners with DOT in our commitment to clean transportation. The Raleigh Executive Jetport will soon become the first airport in North Carolina to have a charging station for electric aircraft. Of course, it is a multimodal charging station because it will also be capable of charging personal vehicles like cars and trucks. We've got about 75,000 registered EVs here in the state today, and we have one EV aircraft here in the state today. We're grateful to the leadership team at Raleigh Executive Jetport for advancing this milestone project. Beta Technologies is here with us today as well. After today's groundbreaking event, the Beta team will start its work to build the charging station. Of course, they wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the electric aircraft they flew in. They're touring the East Coast this week to showcase this aircraft, ALIA. And it's the epitome of innovation in aviation. And you've already got an opportunity to see it, but after we finish, you can certainly see it much closer too. This remarkable plane not only symbolizes the future of aviation, but provides us with a glimpse of the possibilities that lie ahead. I'd also like to thank AFWERX, which is the U.S. Air Force program that's coordinating this week's tour. A big shout out to our team at DOT. You've met Lisa already. We've got a number of DOT staff here. I'd like to recognize Julie White, our Deputy Secretary for Multimodal Transportation. We've got Deputy Secretary Ebony Pittman also in the audience. She's in our Business Development Group. And also Becca Gallus, our Director of Aviation Division, and all the members of her team who have worked so hard to make us a model for others to follow. It's a big day for us here in North Carolina. It marks another step in our efforts to push forward our Advanced Mobility NC initiative. This initiative aims to leverage the work of DOT's Aviation Division, Integrated Mobility Division, and the Rail Division to create a connected, shared, and multimodal transportation system that improves the mobility of people and freight. By combining land with air mobility, we don't just talk about the future of transportation. We seek to move our vision to reality by investing in innovative technologies that ensure seamless and connected mobility to address the public's need. There's never been a more important time to realize this vision. The way we travel is becoming more efficient and sustainable and far less impactful to the environment. And this project is a prime example of our efforts to advance clean transportation. Electric vehicles and aircraft will help us reduce the carbon footprint. And that's good for both the environment and the economy. Today's groundbreaking event marks the continuation of something really special for everyone here. Air travel got its start in North Carolina about 120 years ago when Orville and Wilbur Wright flew from the dunes at Kitty Hawk. And as the first in-flight state, we're always looking for new ways to lead the way in aerospace and multimodal transportation innovation. For instance, we're leading the ways with our drone programs, using them to carry medical supplies and food, inspecting bridges, and even helping our law enforcement partners with accident reconstruction. Today, this is another milestone. This investment not only enhances the capability of Raleigh Executive Jetport, but it positions it as a crucial player in supporting the electrification of transportation well into the future. The transition to electric aviation demands a collective effort, and this project helps lay the groundwork for a future where sustainability and innovation coexist seamlessly in North Carolina. But this is not just about a charging station. It's about setting the stage for the next generation of aviation and transportation. Thank you again for all the partners, organizations, and individuals who have contributed to this transformative effort. Today, we're building a future where innovation and sustainability propel us to new heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Hopkins. Wouldn't it be nice if that was an electric airplane? I'm just saying. Next, we're going to hear from Blaine Newton, who's the Chief Operating Officer for Beta Technologies. Blaine is responsible for leading the company's commercialization strategy and approach, supporting the company's pursuit of electric flight. Will you please welcome Mr. Newton?
Well, I'm not sure I have much more to add to what Carter and Secretary Hopkins already said. They and certainly whatever I say, they said it more eloquently. Just incredibly happy to be here, and thank you to Carter and the team here at TTA just a remarkable effort to get this done. Thank you, Secretary Hopkins and your team. Becca and team have been incredible partners here. Dash, thank you and the team at AFWorks for supporting us back in 2019 when we were a little company up in Northwest Vermont with maybe 30 people and not a flying airplane. To believe in us then and then support us now on our trip down the East Coast. The ability to fly over Washington, D.C. yesterday and land at Joint Base Andrews on our way to Eglin down in Duke. Just an incredible progress supported largely Dash by you and your team. Thanks also to AUVSI for bringing critical conversations to the forefront to enable advanced air mobility. I think it's pretty clear that no one company or no one group is going to do this by themselves. It's a community, and I'd be remiss in not thanking Mikkel and the United Therapeutics team, who met us with a challenge about 5 years ago, maybe 6, to say, hey, we want to deliver organs, and we don't want to pollute the environment doing so, and set us off on a mission. Really, our founding customer. It's fitting and frankly really humbling to be here today, standing amongst these defined folks here in North Carolina, the first in flight state, standing alongside our founding customer in United Therapeutics, and to be able to fly this aircraft down the East Coast to do it. We started Beta in 2017 with a goal to help bend the curve on climate change, and the only way you do that is big, audacious goals. And through that time, we've looked to unlock opportunities for connecting communities in ways that have been maybe overlooked over the last several decades of aviation. And we found an awful lot of resonance here in North Carolina to do that, with some pretty audacious climate goals of your own, with I think 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by the end of the decade and net zero by 2050. I think you're going from 75,000 cars with a goal of 1.25 million by 2030 and 50% new sales by then. It's astounding. And to have that kind of resonance and support from government and community is what unlocks it. But the other thing that's really key here, I think, in North Carolina is I don't know that I've seen a state more forward-looking about the economic impact that aviation can bring. With, I don't know, 50 some odd $1 billion coming into the state through the aviation sector, 72 publicly owned and administered airports. Only 10 of those, unfortunately, are passenger airports today, and that's largely driven by the cost of operating aircraft. This changes that. By driving the operating cost of aviation down, we can now reconnect these communities and maybe get to 72 passenger operating aircraft and allow folks to engage with rural health access, with ordering and distribution, with cargo and logistics as the big logistics companies like UPS reimagine their networks, with being able to fly passenger travel to go visit your family in the mountains or go on vacation in the Outer Banks in a cost-effective, sustainable way. That's what the future of electric aviation is. Yeah, there's some flying over traffic in densely populated cities, but most of it is reconnecting communities just like here in Sanford to broader communities outside. In 2017, we were working really hard to validate that technology and Mother Nature had come together to allow for commercially viable missions, and we developed two configurations of aircraft. One here is as a conventional takeoff and landing. We're not that loud, and we climb a lot faster, for what it's worth. One is conventional takeoff and landing. The other is vertical takeoff and landing. Both have very compelling mission capabilities today. This is one of 2 prototype aircraft we're flying. Production's set to begin. Well, really started last week in our facility in Vermont. But this is one of 2 prototype aircraft, and these 2 aircraft have flown more than 500 times, 27,000 miles, as the Secretary said, outside of our test zone. We're flying all over the country. We flew to Bentonville, Arkansas. We flew out to meet Secretary Buttigieg in Louisville. We flew through New York City, into Washington, down to Eglin through this beautiful airport here at TTA. And the key there is that when you're a pilot and you're flying not at the mercy of the aircraft, but at the mercy of air traffic control, you have to perform differently. You have to be safe. You have to be reliable. And you learn an awful lot by doing that. We've had the absolute privilege of flying with Air Force pilots and Army pilots and FAA pilots in this aircraft. And in fact, a customer pilot, Martine Rothblatt, has had the opportunity to fly it twice. And it just goes to show that this is not a science experiment. this is a commercially viable product that is safe and reliable and clean and cost effective. And that's what we're excited to be here today, right? On our way to deliver this aircraft to our Air Force partners down at Duke Field at Eglin Air Force Base. This is the 6th state we've stopped in on that journey down the East Coast. And we're unbelievably excited to ground break on the first electric aircraft charger in the state of Massachusetts, in the state of North Carolina. I was in Massachusetts last week. In the state of North Carolina to do that. It's pretty symbolic as first in flight, and here at Sanford we're putting in the first charging station. And soon you'll be able to fly by the end of this year, you'll be able to fly from Maine to New York to DC to Raleigh through Sanford on the way to Eglin, out through the Gulf Coast to Texas, up to Arkansas, Missouri, Ohio, and back. And so this charging facility here adds to the 15 chargers we have in the ground today and another 60 in process. We're building out a network so that you can fly this aircraft anywhere in the country that you want to, and eventually anywhere in the world you want to. Look, to build and support something new, it takes a community, it takes an awful lot of support, and we've thanked the folks here at TTA and the DOT and others, and also Central Electric Membership Corp was pretty essential in getting the power pulled for this. It takes an awful lot of power to charge these aircraft. And as the Secretary said, there's utility in it today. You can charge trucks, you can charge buses, you can charge cars with it today. But what it really represents is the future, and it's that future of interconnected communities through a new form of air mobility. It's incredibly important that places like Sanford, places like Raleigh Executive Jetport lead the way to show that this form of transportation is here and it's now. Look, innovation's hard. It's not some overnight success story. It's a series of bumping your head and stubbing your toe, and it takes vision, and it takes patience, and it takes discipline and dedication. And man, do we see that on this stage today in the crowd today. It's pretty remarkable, the courage that's been exhibited by these folks to lean ahead a little bit and show that this is real, and this is the future of air mobility. It's the future of transportation, and it starts here in the first to flight state in North Carolina. Thanks so much for your support.
Thank you so much, Mr. Newton. Our next speaker today is Michael Cardinal, the Vice President of eAviation for the United Therapeutics Corporation. In this role, he is dedicated to developing RPAS and UAS and eVTOL aircraft technologies. I will let him explain those to you. Specifically to support United Therapeutics' organ delivery network. Will you please welcome Mr. Cardinal?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, thank you to Raleigh Exec, Beta Technology, and NCDOT to giving me the opportunity to talk a bit more about our healthcare use case. Under the United Therapeutics Organization, Unither Bioelectronique, in partnership with several advanced air mobility players like Beta Technologies, has been tasked with finding creative ways to transport organs safely, efficiently, at scale. Here's the issue: an urgent need to increase the availability of transplantable organs. As such, United Therapeutics, a public benefit corporation who has a presence right here in North Carolina in the Research Triangle Park, has a vision to change the fate and lives of these patients through innovative technique in organ manufacturing, including xenotransplantation and advanced 3D bioprinting. Each year, thousands of patients are dying from an acute shortage of donor organs. Every single day, 17 people die waiting for an organ transplant. And every 10 minutes, another person is added to the transplant waiting list. I think that we can all agree to say this is just not acceptable. The challenge is to design and fully implement a highly efficient and environmentally friendly transportation system, including a fleet of Beta aircraft capable of delivering manufactured organs on demand to waiting patients across the nation. In short, we have a vision to manufacture organs from a few FDA-approved centralized locations and then deliver those to transplant centers across the U.S. with the all-electric ALIA aircraft. To tackle this challenge, we believe that electric aviation and autonomy will eventually allow us to scale routine manufactured organ distribution across the country. Electric aviation means not putting more CO2 in the atmosphere. Autonomy for us means tackling the pilot shortage, and for many other in the industry as well. At United Therapeutics, we are passionate for patients. We do the right things. Within that context, we firmly believe that it is inconsistent to contribute to increasing the demand for organ transportation services without contributing to eradicate our impact on climate change with sustainable aviation technologies like the Beta aircraft. To unlock our organ delivery use case and save more lives with clean, sustainable, advanced air mobility technology, it is worth highlighting the necessity for airport infrastructure upgrades. Regarding the Beta multimodal electric charger that is revealed today here at Raleigh Exec, I think it's a great example of forward-thinking collaboration in the advanced air mobility innovation space. And this is one step further to decarbonize aviation while increasing the reach of United Therapeutics' future zero-emission organ distribution network. As a patient-centric organization, I also want to highlight practical advancement within the context of pioneering advanced air mobility for organ transportation mission. In September 2021, my team at Unither Bioelectronic led a first of its kind in the field of organ transportation, which consisted in the first ever clinical lung delivery via UAS to the Toronto General Hospital up in Canada to save an actual patient, Mr. Alain Odak, who received a double lung transplant via specialized medical drone technology. This first of its kind marks just the beginning of our innovation story in the field of sustainable and efficient organ transportation. It represents just a glimpse of what we are looking forward to implementing with the longer range Beta aircraft that you can see here today for regional and then nationwide organ distribution, supported by the necessary critical recharging infrastructure. Finally, I want to emphasize that UT, United Therapeutics, is enthusiastic to have the Beta aircraft in its advanced air mobility ecosystem. I remember those days when the Beta aircraft was just a paper concept. It took just about 2 years to make it real, a full-scale aircraft pilot on board. It now flies cross-country and even flew internationally to Montreal, Canada last month in a safe, repeatable, consistent, and cost-efficient manner, thanks to the safety culture and the innovative and entrepreneurial spirit that Beta Technologies has cultivated. I am a firm believer that we are today very close to seeing the era when this technology will save many hundreds of lives with life-saving manufactured organ transport missions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cardinal. Now we will hear from Darshan Divakaran. He is we also call him Dash, so you will recognize him. He's the head of Aerospace Innovation and Prime Partnerships at AFWERX. In this role, he leads the airspace integration efforts with a focus on uncrewed traffic management and advanced air mobility. Will you please welcome Mr. Divakaran?
I usually have everything in my head, but 5 minutes is too much information, and 5 minutes is tough. So, good morning, everyone. Urbanization, digitalization, and decarbonization are the mega trends that have created the necessity for new and creative approaches to the urban transportation system. Advanced air mobility, or we call it AAM, is one such creative approach which is getting global recognition. The Beta aircraft here is an example of the innovation and the creative approach. AAM enables access to on-demand air mobility, cargo and package delivery, healthcare applications, and emergency services through an integrated and connected multimodal transportation network. The network extends beyond urban to local, regional, and intra-regional as well. So the world of mobility is constantly evolving, and the question we need to ask us is, are we evolving with it? So as a show of hands, how many of you all know about AFWERX? Gets better every time, right? It's like 1, 2, and now it's many more. But yeah, so AFWERX is the innovation arm and the investment arm for the Air Force. And it gets everyone thinking, why is the Air Force here? It's a commercial, civil type of technology. So let me make it blunt and clear here that we are here to prevent China from poaching away this emerging market from the US, as it did with consumer drone market, and controlling the supply chain side of things. Now, how is the Air Force going to do this? So AFWERX ASDETI Prime, which was launched in April of 2020, is the Air Force's collaborative initiative to work with the industrial base on testing and experimentation, accelerating development of the commercial market for AAM, and creating a domestic industry and supply chain market for the development and production. So the ASDETI Prime effort reduces the risk for technology, regulatory, and financial aspects of the AAM industry, increasing the pace of development and paving the way for early operations of AAM aircraft for both military and commercial applications. AAM aircrafts can provide the Department of Defense with many unique use cases, since they are electric and hybrid, have significantly low noise level compared to most of the aircrafts that you saw today also, low maintenance and operating costs, and reduced heat signatures. Possible use cases for us include disaster relief, firefighting, search and rescue, humanitarian, and efforts related to medical evacuation, logistics support, and simple personnel movement. Over the past 3 years, AFWERX has invested $345 million across 36 companies. After 3 years of important milestones, our program and our partners like BETA have taken big leaps in 2023. AFWERX has been working with BETA since 2019-2020, and this partnership has been great. Just to highlight some key success, the US Air Force first airworthiness approval for manned electric aircraft was awarded to BETA in May of 2021. The Air Force pilots flew the BETA aircraft in March of 2022, making first ever airmen to fly an electric aircraft under military airworthiness. Our friends in the Army, our Army soldiers flew the BETA aircraft in July 2022, making the first soldier to fly an electric aircraft under military airworthiness. BETA has provided AFWERX and ASDETI Prime with simulators, including a mobile sim that has conducted pilot training and demonstrations across the US. And finally, we are excited to receive BETA aircraft at Eglin next week. Now, next week is also significant because, especially for the AM industry, because next week the AFWERX and FAA will be signing a partnership agreement at Eglin Air Force Base. This MOU demonstrates a continued commitment to collaboration between the Department of Defense and the Federal Aviation Administration to ensure all aviation conducted in the national airspace meets the highest level of safety and security. It also establishes a unique approach to integrated testing and data sharing that will not only ensure safety in the airspace, but also accelerate the development of US-built aircrafts, supporting infrastructure and regulatory policy needed for successful integration of the advanced air mobility. Today, we are here in the great state of North Carolina, which I proudly call my home. So what role does states play for the future of AAM, you may ask? I feel states play a key role for commercial viability, standardizing infrastructure, and ensuring security and community acceptance. States like North Carolina are important for the future of advanced air mobility, not only because of the rich aviation history, but strong culture of innovation and workforce. Finally, in my closing, I would like to thank the North Carolina Department of Transportation for organizing the Electrify Air Mobility North Carolina event This is one of the many efforts they are leading for the state and bringing community together. AFWERX is looking forward for future collaboration here in North Carolina on advanced air mobility and other emerging technologies. The North Carolina Department of Transportation's Division of Aviation truly requires everyone's support as they position North Carolina as a leader in the national AAM strategy. Last but not least, I would like to thank Bob and the RaleighJet Executive Airport for hosting this amazing event. This airport, a fun fact, this airport is my son's favorite. I was able to bring him yesterday to see this aircraft. I think he gets an idea of what his dad actually does, and because he keeps seeing me going every week, traveling across the nation. So it is really happy to see that excitement. It also gives us an opportunity to relive our childhood. My dad is in the aviation, and he was a pilot, and it gave me an opportunity to see him flying and being in this environment that it excited me to be here. So I'm hoping my son continues that. But the key thing here is I am hoping that every child and every adult who's seeing this technology is excited, because I'm very excited, and it sparks the child in me, but I hope everyone gets that same feeling. So I'll leave you all with a quote that really made sense. Every once in a while, a new technology, and hear me clearly, a new technology, an old problem, and a big idea turns into innovation. Thank you. I don't want to leave my notes here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Devakaran. I'm just going to call you Dash. I'm so glad that you brought Rishi yesterday, and it just reminds us, seeing the children that were here yesterday, those are our next pilots. So it's really important that we bring them and get them excited. Now I would like to introduce you to our last speaker, who is Brian Wynn, and he is the CEO for AUVSI. It is the largest nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement of unmanned systems and robotics. Will you please welcome Mr. Wynn?
Well, thank you, Lisa. It's great to see everybody on this beautiful day in North Carolina. Sir, I'm glad to put Raleigh Executive, I wanted to say Sanford, in my logbook this morning. This is my second week in a row. Becca knows, because we were down in Washington, Warren last week. North Carolina is one of my favorite places to fly. I vacation on Whiskey 95, Ocracoke Island. This is a really special event for me to participate in, because I spent 10 years of my career promoting electric drive technology. When I took the job as president and CEO of the Electric Drive Transportation Association in 2004, one of my board members, who represented a major automobile company that today makes absolutely exquisite electric vehicles, said to me, and I quote, "I think plugging cars into the grid is the dumbest idea I've ever heard." That's the one that I could print. And I wonder what he'd be thinking today, standing here next to this exquisite flying machine. I know what I think. I think that electric mobility is something truly special, and it adds so many opportunities for us to expand from an economic standpoint, to serve our communities better, to serve our warfighters better, et cetera, et cetera. So on behalf of AUVSI, thank you for the invitation to be here. AUVSI was actually founded in 1972, and it came from the military applications side of the world, where we were using uncrewed, unmanned systems largely for intelligence gathering in Vietnam. And they founded the private organization, remotely piloted, was in the title back then. As that war was drawing to a close, and those programs were being shut down. And since then, it has been a gathering place, much like this sort of a community, for people to partner, to find one another, because no one can do what it is to shape the future by themselves. It's required that we sort of get on the same page, find where the weight of consensus is, and move forward with that. There's no question in my mind that AUVSI which operates here at the local level. Dash, you can put my hat on there, the AVSI hat. He's also our chapter president in North Carolina. Is just as important, if not more important, than what we're doing at the federal level. And AVSI works across the governmental agencies and even on the international level as well, in order to foster that collaboration that's required, in order to create an environment in which these kinds of technologies can thrive, and most importantly be integrated into the airspace in a way that not just creates tremendous opportunities for our society and benefits for our society, but is also done safely. Since I took the role with AVSI in 2015, and I've been a pilot now for over 30 years, I've been saying that this technology will make flying safer for all of us in the flying public, all of us that are embracing that pilot aircraft, et cetera, et cetera. We see that with small drones increasingly. We're able to do many things that benefit society with small drones, and we do them safer. Now we have much, much larger electric vehicles, and I am very excited about that for a whole bunch of reasons. And think of the different things that can be done in addition to organ donation. It's gobsmacking important to do such things as organ donation and organ delivery, and think of how timely that is. And I applaud you for leaning in on this technology to do that. But it's also going to create opportunities for people that are here to get to RDU a little bit faster, and people who generally don't have accessibility for a lot of different things. That accessibility is going to come to them in a way that's also environmentally friendly, both from a noise perspective. I like airplane noise, but also from the standpoint of CO2 emissions, et cetera. So it's exceedingly important. At the federal level, I am very, very proud to say that we're finally getting a new administrator that is moving along at the FAA very smartly now on Capitol Hill. Mike Whitaker is someone I've known since he was Deputy FAA Administrator back in 2015, and we've stayed in touch over the years. And he's someone who's coming from the AAM community. When he was at the FAA, he was in charge of questions of modernization and how do we integrate technologies into the airspace in a way that makes things safer. And I know people would say that's not a job that ever gets finished, but I know how many pilots that we have here. You know, everybody would say that ADS-B, some of the Part 23 reforms and so forth that have made technology much more available to smaller pilots like me that fly single pilot OFR. We've got a lot more tools today than we ever had before. What you're seeing is the next generation of this acceleration for aviation, and it's exceedingly important. For those of you that drive electric vehicles, yay. I'm still driving electric, and I think it's awesome. I've got nothing against liquid fuels, but charging is a problem. Right? Charging is a challenge for those of us that want to drive to North Carolina, unless you drive a Tesla. They got out ahead of it, not unlike Beta is thinking about. They're getting ahead of it. They're locating where they can charge and then making their flight arrangements from there. I think this is really, really smart, and I think it's really, really important. And electricity, in addition to bringing the utility companies into this game and giving them a stake in aviation, which is a pretty new thing, also gives us the opportunity to leverage electricity, which is not a resource, it's a form of energy. And it can be made with many, many different resources that are domestic. So I'll close with things that Dash tagged up on. This is a dual-use technology. It is extremely important. What you're doing here in North Carolina is, and it's very consistent with what you've always done here in North Carolina, is serve our warfighters and make things better for society in general. So thank you for this initiative. I'm delighted to be here, and I look forward to speaking with some of you when we're done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wynn. I would also like to thank you all for coming out to celebrate the groundbreaking of North Carolina's first multimodal electric charging station. So this event here lays the groundwork for the future of aviation, and we cannot wait to see what that future may lead to. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for, if the speakers will kindly join me as we perform the ceremonial groundbreaking.
Wants to make sure that you are looking at that nice lady in the white sweater right there, okay? And I'm going to do a countdown so that we're not all discombobulated, okay? So we're gonna go on 3. Okay, are you ready? 1, look at her and smile. 2, 3.